Hey guys, this is Kyle, aka Daunt, coming at you with a video that's a little bit different than what I've been used to uploading. You may notice a couple things different. First, added a little commentary to this one, um, so hopefully it's not too bad. Let me know if you like it in the comments or something. Something to try maybe in the future. Two, may notice that I'm able to look around now, and I happened to get an Oculus Rift within the past month or so, and I already swear by it. I won't go back to using a monitor. I had a single monitor setup before, and it does not cut it. And just from an immersion standpoint, this is second to none. I can't wait to see what this technology holds in the future, but for now it's absolutely amazing, and I couldn't be happier with taking the plunge. Something that I've wanted to get for at least 2 years, especially when they had the DK2 and then they announced the pre-orders, and then they said, you know what, screw you guys, it's $600. But finally, the sale, if you guys have been thinking about it before, definitely pull the trigger. You might also notice that this isn't the normal 4 rings car that I drive. That's because the Audi sucks to drive. I have forced myself to try and like it, and it just does not work. The car is horrible, and you can see that in the participation, honestly, in any of the series now. Nobody's really driving it. It is a death trap at best, and at worst it's just a slow, boring monster. So you probably won't see me in that again until they make some changes. Hopefully that's what, in addition to a new GT3, that's what Steve Meyer was hinting at as the car's getting some love. Say if they release a new GT3 that drives similar to these GTEs, nobody's going to drive the old GT3s because they're just on a completely different level. Anyway, the guy off over there, free position for us. This was my second race at Montreal this week, second race in a GTE. I'm not used to this car by any stretch of the imagination. You could see me just be extremely hesitant to hit those curbs, and that's just something that I've kind of brought into my driving before. You can see we're getting really close, but now I can actually look to see how close I am and really be competitive. But yeah, I'm really liking these GTEs, obviously. I don't know if anybody can say anything bad about them. They need to really go back and touch up the GT3s in the same manner. It's just crazy. So this guy got to slow down, actually. So another free position. Yeah, this is second race at Montreal. This one was top split of 3, I believe, at midday Sunday. So I qualified, but because of my hesitation with the GTE, and in general, just biggest thing is taking curbs with this thing for me. Because of the way I drove the Audi, and you have to drive the Audi, you just can't hit those hot dog curbs like this Ferrari can. So I'm not used to what you need to do, like this turn here, hitting those hot dog curbs through that fast chicane. Really not something I'm used to yet. So that was my main reason I'm a little bit slow, and that's going to be my excuse. Hopefully next week it's going to be a little bit better, and hopefully I'll have a video for that. But yeah, anyway, So when I qualified, I opted not to qualify with a qualify set because I was just worried about losing it through this chicane. Look at how slow I take that. That guy has a run by 10 to 15 kilometers out of that chicane. I get a little bit more confident, but I have no faith in hitting those curbs. I'm just used to dying immediately. So qualified near the back, so that's not a problem. Thankfully, there was no chaos at the start. And now we're just gonna see if we can keep up with this group here. Just keep it consistent and not do that as we try to climb our way forward. Just thankfully, the guy that got the slowdown is back behind us holding up a few other cars. So we have no pressure from behind. We just focus forward here and concentrate on taking down this blue car first. I will say that one thing that the Rift has really helped me with is consistency. It hasn't really made me faster, but I can see that it's going to help in the long run as I get more consistent. Tracks that I normally hate because on a single monitor it's just absolutely murder for me. One of the big ones was that off the top of my head was that left-hander at Sandfort. You just need to swing out so wide. It makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Like I said, I won't go back to racing on the monitor. Just for that situational awareness, being able to know where the driver is that's next to you or right behind you. It helps that these GTEs have this extremely handy rear view mirror camera. I'm not used to that either, but it's all good. So we're gonna stay with this pack. I'm hoping. Yeah, this Montreal has been, I know a lot of people don't like Montreal and it's just a chicane heavy track, same as Monza where just a lot of open. I think there's a lot more skill here than Monza, but a lot of people treat it with the same disdain, which is just fine. I understand why people might not love it, but I think it's a fun track, and above all else, it is extremely picturesque. I hope to visit it one day for, at the very least, an F1 race. I live outside of Detroit, so it's about a 7 or 8 hour drive for me, but I would make the trip for sure in the next couple of years, I hope. I've never been to a F1 race. I go to Belle Isle every year to watch IMSA for sure. For those who don't know, I had a son, and my first kid in December, Sebastian, and I like to tease my wife that I named him after Sebastian Vettel. She doesn't like that, but that is the reason I haven't really posted that much, sadly. I've only been in about 10 official races this year. Oh, these guys went in the chicane too wide, so hopefully get a run into the first couple corners. make him make more mistakes. Yep, nope. Make some contact, but nowhere for us to go. Yeah, earlier on in this season, I was doing GT3 IMSA. I was trying to race the Audi, trying to like it, and not really like it, but just put up with it, and just not having any luck. I did the DP last week, Road America, and came in second. That was all right, but I thought I'd try the GTs because I've been wanting to race it. They're great cars, they honestly are. Oh, that couldn't have been much closer. So it looks like that the car behind me here is finally caught up with us. He's definitely faster. He caught up pretty fast after he was managed to get by. So I'm thinking at this point that I let him go, and I want to see if I can use him to get by at least one of these cars. So I'm not gonna fight him going into turn 1 here, and he of course does not hesitate. He seizes the opportunity to dive up there and cost me some time, but I'm gonna let him go and see if he can open up a door for us to follow through the blue car at the very least. Like I said, I know he has pace, so we'll see if he can do that. We'll try to stick right on their rears. Sounds pretty good. Sticky rears for sure. Not something the Audi has, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I just get killed coming out of these chicanes, and it really shows. But hopefully next week's Interlagos, see if we can get a good race in there at least once. Less scary chicanes. Yeah, the red car here is getting pretty antsy, so hopefully we won't have much longer to wait to pounce on something. Though they're driving away from me just a little bit. Like I said, you're out of the last chicanes, killing me. I do like Montreal though. Definitely not on my top 5 or 10, but I do enjoy Montreal. I don't know how much I would like it if I had to come here pretty often. But it is a fun track. It's a gorgeous track. And in some ways it does remind me of Belle Isle, which I just wish we would scan. Can only hope. There's a lot of talk about that. Steve teased a picture of a picnic table right around the time the Belle Isle Grand Prix was going on. So I was, along with a couple other forum goers, were searching frantically to find that picnic table. Oh, there's another close call. Searching to find that picnic table to prove that it was Belle Isle that was scanned. Still no word yet on any upcoming tracks, really, besides that Snetterton, or however the hell you say it. I don't know what's with those English words. Snetterton? These guys are getting pretty racy, which is very good for us because we catch right back up. Blue car's getting defensive. Honestly, I thought the red car would have been went by already, but that's okay. We we're sticking with him. We gotta stay right on top of him though if we want to squeak by at the same time he leaves the door open. Well, looks like that first car made a mistake here, so pretty much everybody's got to run on the next car. So going to the chicane, there's a lot of shuffling. We are going to seize that door for sure. Looks like the blue car didn't get as bad of a run as I thought he would out of here, but we'll take our position back and might even get an extra one. I decide here it's a little bit safer to back out. I don't know what he's gonna do, but we're able to get a run. Show our nose. Let him know that we're going to go right up the inside here. Goes wide and we seize that. Thankfully for us, the fast red car didn't make it by, so hopefully he'll hold him up just a little bit while I get an opportunity to try and pass the blue car for once here. Yeah, you can't take those chicanes worth a damn at all. That is the absolute wrong way to do it, and I just can't commit myself to do it. I can do it in practice pretty fine, but doing it in a race, I was just getting nervous. So you guys let me know if you liked the commentary throughout the race here in my VR and TV broadcast switchbacks. The TV broadcast is what I am used to doing with overlays, which I will use this chance to say thank you to Noel Lundberg. The 5,000 umlauts included for help with a program that helps me make the overlays a lot faster. You may or may not know, but for me, as a designer, I make the overlays all custom, and I do it to match the real world series. So in this case, IMSA, but the program that he made basically made it twice as fast, at the very least, to churn out the overlays for relevant laps and other stats. So I can make the tickers very quickly. At this point, we're very much into the fuel window, probably within the next 5 laps or so. I'm thinking at this point I want to follow blue car in, because we're getting some good lap times following him closely. Like I said, he's pulling away just a little bit on most parts, but looks like in the heavier braking zones, especially into the hairpin, I'm able to catch some time back, and then all along the whole straight get a few tenths back. So really gaining a lot of time keeping close to him, and if he makes a mistake, we'll be all over him, so long as we don't slide through the corner or anything similar like that. really hope you guys enjoy the VR views as well. Trying to provide something a little bit different content-wise. I'm not the most talkative guy, nor can I really do this while I'm driving. I'm full concentration, and I wish I was like watching Nicky Tim or Matt just kill the laps while they're chatting away and reading chat. There's absolutely no way I'd be able to do that, so this is really my only option if you want to hear me talk about the laps. Even on TeamSpeak doesn't go the best, even though I have had some videos and obviously my endurance videos in the past. Hopefully very soon here, when the Pro Qualifier Series starts up in a month or two, we'll be doing those videos again. Probably Ryan and I running hopefully the Audi, but we'll honestly see. If it's not fixed by then, we're both in agreement that we're not going to touch it with a 30-foot pole, honestly. I know there's there's rumored to be a new GT3 car. I can only hope that it's gonna be a good one. And more honestly though, I hope that Steve's promised loving that the GT3 cars are gonna get involves proper BOP as well as handling characteristics that are closer to the GTE, because I really don't. They nailed the GTE cars and the Porsche extremely well. They are great to drive, very fun to drive, but I really don't understand how the gentleman's cars, like the GT3 cars, which have traction control and ABS and stuff, are that much harder to drive. They are a lot of work the best of times. At the worst of times, we know how driving the McLaren used to be, or like I said, the Audi now. I mean, everybody just drives the Mercedes. It's just the Mercedes Sprint series with some. The Macca I know is fast, but it still wants to kill you. A little bit. It's definitely better than it used to be when I used to run it. Anyway, we looks like we picked up another straggler. I'm not sure. He must have hit the wall back there last lap or something, but here I go over driving the chicane again. We're just looking to keep up, like I said, and capitalize on any mistakes. It's like that one. Pretty amazing that you could get a run out of that corner when you go that wide, but that's how it works. Like I said, we're just going to try and capitalize on mistakes and stay close, get good draft throughout the lap, because oh, that guy's pitting. Throws you off a little bit. That pretty much brake a little bit past the 1 marker when you're on your in lap, so if you have a car directly in front of you, it really kind of screws you over. But yeah, I don't think I have the pace to really outrun this blue car. If I can capitalize on a mistake, I probably could keep him behind me. But he does appear a little bit faster. As at this point, I believe he disconnected. I'm not sure if he got a DQ. I don't think he did. But he did just disappear. And at that point, I'm wondering if I'm losing connection, because I don't see anybody else until, you know, that point where they're headed around. I wasn't sure if it was my issue or or what, but another free position, sadly, because he was doing really well. I was having a lot of fun racing him. It was a great challenge. So at this point we got some clear track ahead of us, and I'm gonna look to pit very soon here. Not quite yet. I know we can run some good laps on this lower fuel, even though that's exactly what I was afraid of running in qualify. And that's the reason for my slow time. Looks like we're finally catching up to what looks to be a backmarker GT3 Mercedes, of course. There's actually an Audi that did grid, and I believe he might have had pole, which is absolutely insane. I have to go back and watch his laps, because to put the Audi on the pole here, of all places, you have to be a damn good driver. So I don't have that much experience passing the GT3s in a GTE car. I did run DP last week, and we did try and run the 6 hours of the Glen, and sadly, yeah, we were in the DP in that. Sadly, we were running that for about, I think we're 3 hours in. It was my second stint. I was ready to hand over the car in about 5 laps when through the entering the boot section, the downhill left, which is incredibly blind, there was a DP in a Ferrari sitting there, and unfortunately we try and get by this Mercedes as fast as possible. Thankfully he made it very painless. Sadly, that DP ended up backing out right into the road on that blind left-hander, and ended our race. We were running about 10 seconds from the leader in second place, and we definitely had a great shot to win the race. Our fastest driver was ready to get in, like I said, in 5 laps, and could have easily walked away with it, but it didn't work out. Bad luck 2 years in a row now for me. Ken driving the DP in the year prior. Again, I think we were in second or third. And here we are pitting in. I believe we were in second or third, and Ken pretty much ran into a spun car, didn't have any time to react, so here we are. We just taken, I think it's around 26 liters of fuel, no tires, and then we'll be off again. I need to figure out how to use launch control. I believe this car has launch control, both the GTEs, if I'm not mistaken. Probably show you a couple more laps here, and then probably cut the video. The second half of the race is just not as action-packed as the first half. No doubt. That's how I need to pretty much take that chicane, and I just don't have the balls to do it, unfortunately. As we race down this back straight and the front straight here, I'm just looking to leapfrog anybody that might have been ahead that's heading out now. Recently I started using an app called IR Pit Crew, and there's a Ferrari that just pits out in front of us. Hopefully we can track him down a little bit. Started using an app called IR Pit Crew because honestly I'm really tired of trying to calculate and worry about the fuel consumption in these races, especially when realistically the driver would have absolutely nothing to do with it. The pit crew, you just bring the car in and your crew chief is just making that decision. So me personally, I was tired of worrying about how much fuel to add and then worrying, oh, did I add enough? Why is that guy 5 seconds behind me now? Did I not add enough? If you're looking into something like that, or you're wanting something like that, I would definitely recommend IR Pit Crew. Super easy to use and set up. Just set it on auto, turn the tires off, and as soon as you cross the pit lane, it does all the fuel calcs based on how you've ran the race and applies to your black box when you cross that line how much fuel to add. Literally no messing around with any of the black boxes at that point. You just run your race, hit, and finish the race. It's that simple. So this is my second race using that, and just like Oculus Rift, I will not race without it now. It's really stupid. And in these races, and not IMSA so much, but normally I do the Blancpain races, where they don't, in real life, they don't even take fuel for those sprint races. They just do a change of tires. And I'm really hoping iRacing implements that sooner rather than later. That ability to force pit stops, not just on fuel, but for things like, a requirement to have to take tires, or even better, having a pit window, a required time that you have to go down to the pit lane and take 4 tires. And this wouldn't just be for Blancpain. You can use the same sort of thing for F1, which requires 2 different compounds, honestly, but we don't have different compounds, so even just to force them to come down for another set of tires during the race would be awesome. The usual, if anyone from iRacing is listening, I'm sure it's been suggested multiple times, but would be great, because like I said, in Blancpain they don't even take fuel. It's just 4 tires and go. So if everybody had that same thing, these races would be a lot easier for a lot of people. You don't get those morons that get in here and say, how much fuel for the Ferrari or whatever. That's always good, because you know they've done a lot of practice. I just absolutely love that right-hander turn though. Absolutely love it. Probably the best part of this track. There's definite parallels between this and Long Beach, but this is a lot more forgiving. Whoa. Another thing, I'm still getting used to the GTE brakes. Definitely made a lot of progress, but still could use some obvious work. iRacing did an absolute great job with the GTE cars. I can only hope that they go back to the GT3 cars and kind of give them the same loving that these GTE cars got. I have no idea what the ins and outs, the actual differences are, why the cars are better and more drivable. As there's a spin up ahead, I gotta slam on the brakes here, as I have no idea what this GT3 is doing. Was not a very safe entry. Looks like he messed up the rear of this GTE, so we'll take that free position for sure. Yeah, that's honestly one of my biggest pet peeves in iRacing are horrible rejoins. There's no excuse for you jumping on the track like that, and getting a race ruined by that, of all things, is the most ridiculous thing. I cannot stand it. There's no excuse for that. For you to just jump on the track. I know it's a race, but other people who didn't screw up are trying to race. That's the end of my rant for that one. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hope you liked the video. Let me know if you like this format of commentary along with some VR and TV shots. So let me know in the comments below, and if you liked it, give me a like or subscribe. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.